Honest J. Nowak. Oh yeah. A pleasure to meet y'all at last, and welcome back to Honest J. Nowak. So today, on Honest J. Nowak, I'm going to go ahead and talk about a little something about climate change. Now, as you all know, climate change happens to become more apparent in today's lifestyle, significantly due to the fact that it has been caused by multiple factors, including pollution, as well as the different types of atmospheric conditions, and of course, carbon emissions. Now, we've had millions of types of carbon emissions and non-green energy based runoffs, to which that can actually develop a lot of different climate based differentiation. And now, of course, the signs that usually are developing at this point that can tell us that climate change is apparent would include the fact that at one point it was blazing hot in November, but in April, a time where there are supposed to be showers, it instead ended up snowing. Yes. Back in 2018, April was probably one of the snowiest times ever known throughout that whole year. Whereas in November 2017, it was a very, very hot time. And I mean very hot. The temperatures over there were very comparable to most summer-wise temperatures. But let me just go ahead and bring up a little myth here. Millennials apparently believe that climate change is one of the only things that are going to continue to happen. Now, I just like to go on ahead and explain that it's a myth because, as it turns out, millennials are not the only kind of people who happen to have the kind of point of view that they express based on how climate change is apparent in today's society. Generation X's, like myself, and a lot of other people out there who were born before the year 2000, they also happen to recognize how awful climate change will become if we're not very apparent of how pollution and carbon emissions, as well as some other derivatives, happen to come upon this entire life. And now I'd also like to go ahead and point out that climate change, it will not only involve significant temperature changes in different months, but of course, as the years go by and this continues to go on with pollution and the good stuff that also comes around not very often, we're going to expect a lot more to happen. We might expect tornadoes to occur during January. We might expect a tsunami to come around in a time where it's not summer, or even worse. Only time will tell what climate change will bring us. But let's just remember, though, that the many things that people out there try to bring up, many which don't really happen to be true, but the things that happen to be true are mostly coming from reliable sources as well as from our own experiences. And I, for one, can justify the fact that those hot temperatures in November 2017 and those wintry times in April 2018, along with the many other things that have come around since then, they all happen to conclude that climate change is becoming a very big problem. And it's more often than not because of the many things that we happen to do as a way of disposing certain things out there. Chemical waste, toxic fumes, and the like also happen to provide as high waste pollutants. And the more pollutants are released into the atmosphere, then, well, we got people who out there happen to represent the global warming out there. And it could actually end up happening. Now, the melting of the polar ice caps, for one, is certainly just one thing out there that anyone would want to keep a watch out for. But imagine if the entire planet were to all of a sudden become freezing. It may seem like it never happened, but of course, anything is possible. If an asteroid could wipe out more than 75% of all life on Earth, and if there was a tsunami capable of taking out thousands of lives back in 2004, and not to mention, if there was such thing as an F5 tornado on the Fujita scale, or even worse, then anything, of course, is possible. when you truly set the tone for what could happen. I'm Jay Nowak, and I'll be signing off here on HJN. But if you want to see more, go down to my channel. Make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.